What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for the Sunday Weekly Market Update. A little chit chat on news, dig into some charts and graphs. Take a whip around the sports card world. First up, newsy side. Got a lot of charts, be charts and graphs heavy today. News-wise, really the two biggest, topics / stories are the whole card cleaning thing. We talked about that on Friday. I'm not going to dive back into that. I put my thoughts out there in regards to cleaning cards, repairing cards, fixing cards, all that jazz. So if you're curious for my full thoughts on that, go watch Friday's video. But that's still kind of making its way around. The other big thing is just Topps being an absolute disaster in regards to these whole short print packs and the silver packs, and really sticking it to like breakers and card shop owners to try to get these things in the right people's hands. It doesn't sound like they're going to be in retail. So retail's a mess. People are canceling orders. It sounds like they're going to be already prepackaged in the short prints into the light boxes, which last I checked, we're still up on Topps' website at $100 a pop, but I don't believe there's any autos in those. Just the whole thing is a mess. I saw, and I don't know the full details on this one because I wasn't really involved in this. I think it's Topps Fire hobby boxes. They oversold and had to cancel a bunch of orders. So it's just wild times over there right now. And we'll have to kind of see how things all shake out. Up on the screen here, I'm in the sealed wax section on Market Movers. I have up Topps Chrome hobby boxes, which right now are sitting a little above $200. I've actually seen some stuff on Facebook, like in-store specials from some local LCSs and whatnot, going for $199. I don't know if that includes the pack, does not include the pack. I didn't dig into all that. But I have a feeling these boxes are going to creep down a little bit more. I think jumbo boxes are doing like $350. But once again, we'll kind of have to see how things just kind of settle out in that market. It's really a shame. The whole 2022 Topps Chrome thing, they just kind of muck this thing up right from the get. Like, not having the base rookies in there, with refractors and all that stuff. Like, that's a real shame. The way that they did the autos is a nightmare. Like the J-Ro, we talked about it. Like the Julio Rodriguez auto just looks bad. It's a photoshopped image, airbrushed, not even wearing his correct number. No box for the player to sign in, so the auto gets lost on some of the parallels. Like, this 2022 Topps Chrome should have been the flagship of flagship products. People should have been fighting over blasters and mega boxes and whatever else and hobby boxes and this, that, and the other thing. This should have been one of the most popular products that they've put out in years. And they just completely screwed this thing up. Well, I don't know whose fault it is, if it's Topps, Fanatics, if it was supply chain issues. They couldn't make changes once they found out all these guys were going to be in the product. I have no idea. Somewhere along the line, somebody screwed up. Someone made a bad call somewhere to try to milk this thing. And it's kind of blown up in their face all around. It really has. Now, if Topps Update Chrome comes out and it's got all the stuff in it, are people going to go wild for it? Probably. But it's just shame what they have done to 2022 Topps Chrome product, which should have been a monster product. Has been just completely messed up. So those are kind of the two biggest things in the sports card realm. In the actual sports world, it's been a pretty busy week. Football wise, we'll dig into some football charts and graphs here in a little bit. But we had the Trey Lance injury. Sounds like Justin Herbert might not play today. That's still up in the air as of time of recording. I'm recording this late Saturday afternoon. Judge hit a home run. Pujols got to 700. So we have all that going on in the baseball world. So a lot of fun, awesome stuff going on out there that is impacting card prices. Like I said, we'll kind of dig into that here in a minute. That pretty much covers most of the new stuff. With that being said, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by our friends over at MySlabs.com. They had a cool announcement earlier this week or late last week about Teaming up with Slab Folio, and I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about Slab Folio. I need to dig into it a little bit more. Essentially, it's an inventory management tool that will allow you to one click upload your cards for sale on MySlabs and eBay simultaneously. Sounds pretty good to me. Like I said, I don't have a Slab Folio account yet. I hadn't really done much with them. This announcement came out. I've done some high level digging around on them. I need to do a little bit more. But anything that makes listing things for sale easier on whatever platform sounds pretty good to me. One of the things that I've always liked about MySlabs, and the reason that I decided to kind of partner up with them and do marketing for them is that I like the ability, and they even encourage you to list your cards for sale in multiple places. If it's in a vault, I can't do that. If I have the slab in my hand, guess what I could do? I can list it on MySlabs, I can list it on eBay, I can list it on IG, I can take it to a show with me, I can have it in my case for a trade night. I have a ton of options. If it's sitting in a vault, my only option is to sell it on that vault platform, which means limited eyeballs, out of my control. With MySlabs, I can list it anywhere I want, just like I could any other card. And like I said, I've always loved, and this is right in their ad, they're encouraging you to list on multiple platforms. Like the way that they run their operation, to me, I just really vibe with, because they're not saying, oh no, why would you ever list on eBay? No, they're telling you, hey, list it over here for sale and list it over there. Whichever one sells faster, great. If it sells on our website and we get the 1% commission fee, cool. If you move it on eBay, great. You moved a card over on eBay, cool. Like, they're very realistic about what the current market looks like and buying and selling cards. And I've just always really liked that about them. So if you're not using myslabs.com for buying or selling, once again, highly recommend checking it out. You get really good deals over there sometimes too. And in addition to that, not paid by Slab Folio, not endorsing them in any shape or form, but I am at least genuinely curious, and I am going to go do a little bit more homework on them on that side. So, how good or bad the product is, I can't speak to that. So, check them out if it interests you. I'll do some poking around on that side and see what we can find out. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into Market Movers. Market Movers X is about to launch. I have a fancy new landing page. If you click the link down below, get your first month for $1, and then you can look at all the different pricing plans that they have available to you and what you get in each tier. So if you're curious about Market Movers, you can go check this out down below. They're going to have a big kickoff party / live stream thing where they give a bunch of stuff away. I believe that's at the end of the month on the 28th, I think. And that's when Market Movers X will officially go live. That is their new fancied up version of Market Movers. It is a lot nicer, very clean, and we'll be using it today. So you'll be seeing all the charts and graphs in Market Movers X. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start with baseball. At time of recording, Pujols hit his 700th home run last night. Charts and graphs aren't really reflecting this fully yet because that just happened on Friday. I'm recording this on Saturday. A little bit of a day's lag or so in there until things sell. So we'll kind of have to give it a couple of days and see where things kind of filter themselves out. I have up here his Topps Chrome PSA 10 from Traded. Pop 397 on this, just under 400. This is over the last 30 days. This card's up 44%. $1,000 increase. Was $2,500 back in August, up to $3,500 now. You can see it actually dipped down a little bit. It was down to $2,750 and spiked back up after actually the day before. Or that was the 23rd, so that would have been last night. I don't know if that sale was before or after he hit the home run. But he's at 700 now. I really didn't think he would honestly get there. He's had an insane season at the back half here to get himself over the edge. How much of that's him and how much of that's, some batting practice pitches that are getting tossed up to him. Doesn't really matter. He got 700, which has been fantastic to see. I'm going to go with the old adage. Unless you got something super rare that means a lot to you, it's probably a good time to be selling Albert Pujols. We see this 1,000 times in 1,000 other examples. And maybe this is a little different because it's like an overall monster career milestone getting over 700, but we see this all the time. Players win NBA championships, Super Bowls, World Series, and their prices go down afterwards. There'll probably be a little run here on his stuff as he continues to hit home runs till the season runs out, depending on how he finishes up. But if it's something that's not super rare, super common, might not be a bad time to let it go. You'll probably be able to buy it back cheaper over the winter or in the next year as memory kind of fades on this. Now, Pujols is not going to crash down to zero, obviously. But in the short term, his stuff's probably going to spike, and then it's probably going to pull back a little bit and re-level out at whatever it wants to level out at. If you have something you're not super attached to, it might not be a bad time to move it. That's all I'm saying. So do your homework. Do what makes sense for you. If you're a Pujols super collector, obviously you don't care. I'm just talking about if you bought Pujols in hopes of him making the chase for 700, the time is now. Because you probably got in pretty cheap. Judge is the other one. He continues to smash home runs as well. He's, I think, as of time of recording, don't hold me to this because this changes constantly, slipped back a little bit in the Triple Crown race in the batting average side of things. But he continues to have an absolutely monster season. His stuff is spiked up again. This is over the last 30 days. This is his Bowman draft. Chrome Auto, PSA 10, Pop 47 on this. 30 days ago, you could have had this for 5.5K. Last sale, 7.5K. $2,000 increase, a 35% jump up. You know, Judge has obviously been a good player for a really long time. I don't think anyone expected this to happen where he went absolutely this crazy. If we back this up a little bit more, back in May, this was a $1,200 card. So if you loaded up on Judge prospect autos at $1,200 in April or May, you are sitting pretty now. One of the best returns probably in the entire sports card market this year is Aaron Judge stuff. But obviously a unicorn type season. And I'm going to say the same thing we just said with Pujols. You know, if you have non-rare stuff, we're just talking, you know, Topps Chrome rookies, Topps Chrome refractors, that sort of stuff, I would be moving it. I'd be moving it. That stuff's going to be, you'll be able to buy it back cheaper. If you have something super rare, you know, maybe even one of these autos, maybe you don't want to let it go. I get it. But if you got into this stuff cheap, $1,200, and you can make $6,000 on it, that seems pretty good to me. I'd be personally looking to move out of at least some of it. That's, you know, I talked about it in the video the other day about football. If you're investing in a player to potentially flip, buy multiples. It makes your selling decisions easier. Just makes them so much easier. So, Judge to the moon. Obviously, not surprising. Duh. Judge and Pujols going way up. I wanted to do just a little check-in here on Fernando Tatis. I have not honestly looked at his prices that closely since immediately after the suspension. This is his PSA 10 first Bowman auto from 2016. Before the suspension and the PED stuff came out, this was going for $3,500. As of time of recording, this is now down to $1,500 in a PSA 10. So at its initial drop to 2K, and then has slowly back. So this is now the cheapest it has been in ever. It was at $1,700 at the end of August. It spiked back up slightly and has gone back down again with the most recent sale at $1,550. We'll see if it keeps going or eventually levels out. At some point, it's going to level out. I don't know where that point is exactly, but it continues to backslide ever so slightly. At some point in time, there's going to be a buying opportunity on him. I don't know when it's going to be, but his stuff continues to slide back. Another one, channel favorite, Soto first Bowman, PSA 10 auto. This card is reset back down to its price prior to the trade. Obviously, we're looking at a very wide view here. This is going all the way back to the end of March. So when spring training wrapped up, this card was going for $7,600. Season started, he started kind of slow. It trailed right off, bottomed out at $3,800. Right here is where, you know, this little jump up right here is where the contract negotiations were going on. He gets traded to San Diego. It spikes back up to $6,200 and then kind of floats in that 5K to 6K range. You see it dip down again, went back up. and then has been on a downhill and is now the lowest price it's been all season at 32.46, lower than where it was at 3,800. If we back this thing up a whole year, I'm going to imagine, yeah, this is the lowest that this card has been in a long time. Here's the almost 2-year chart on this. I was just curious. I think that might be the lowest this thing's been in a long time. Yeah, 4K in October 2020. June 2021, 4.5. Yeah, that 3.2 sale is one of the cheapest ones you would have seen in the last 2 years. So we'll see how much lower it keeps going from there. Once again, at some point in time, there could be an interesting buying opportunity here, or it could just keep going down. He had kind of an all over the place season, both in regards to numbers and just general off the field stuff with all the trade things. If he comes back, Padres come back, Tatis gets right, they could have a really nice season next year, and his stuff could go right back up again. But we'll see. We will see what happens. I'm still a believer in Soto. Long term, I don't have a ton of his stuff right now for a full disclosure. I have a Bowman's Best PSA 10 auto, rookie auto. I think that's the only thing I currently own of him. I sold both the pinks that I had left right around the time of the trade. But Soto is definitely someone I'm going to have my eyes on over the off season. He's a player that I still believe in for the long term. Let's talk football. We talked a lot of football earlier this week with kind of a little week 2 market update. I'm going to keep running those as long as there's stuff to talk about. We'll kind of do more of a deep dive in the middle of the week, like Wednesday or Thursday, give it time to settle from the weekend if there's interesting things that happen. So let's talk about a few players we did not talk about in that video. Obviously, Tua to the moon, Trey Lance to the dumpsters we discussed in that video. I wanted to check in on a couple guys. Joe Burrow is one. Their season's been a little all over the place. His offensive line does not look improved, even though that's where they spent their entire off season on. I was curious to see if his prices had dipped at all. And as of right now, they have not a ton. His base prism, and I went back, what did I go back on this? 30 days? Yeah, 30 days, which takes us right to the beginning, or right to the end of August. Base prism from that time is only down 17%. His optic hollow is only down 4%. His silver is actually up 3%, and his optic base is up 3%. Net out is pretty much about flat to down slightly with his base prism, but generally speaking, his market really hasn't moved that much. I think they have I have the Jets. I guess that's kind of a cupcake, even though they beat my Browns. We'll see what they do this weekend. I feel like if they come out again and he does not have a good game, we are probably going to start seeing price movements in Burrow's stuff. If he comes out, has a big game, they win no problem. Him and Chase go off. It probably will continue to maintain value, maybe slightly bump up. But troubling signs so far out of them. I mean, they lost to the Cowboys with Cooper Rush at quarterback. Not a great look, even though the Cowboys defense is really, really good. Other one I wanted to check on, Justin Herbert. Kind of a weird start to the season. He gutted that game out. It sounds like, you guys probably know this better than I do at time of viewing, but at time of recording, he is questionable for tomorrow, I think, at best. It sounds like a determination won't be made until Sunday, so he may end up missing a week. His stuff has trended down a little bit, which I found interesting when Burrow's really hasn't. Same thing last 30 days. Optic hollow, down 3%. We're not talking a ton here. Prism base down 12%. Optic base down 8%. Prism silver down 13%. So it's not like it's a fire sale going on, but his stuff has pulled back a little bit. Remember, Herbert's stuff did the same thing. I think it was last year where it pulled back most of the season, and then he rallied and it shot right back up again when they went on that playoff run. He's another one worth keeping an eye on. If he doesn't play this week, or if he plays and doesn't play great because he's playing through pain, has another bad week and his stuff tails off a little bit, there could be an interesting spot to potentially slide in. Typically, I think the best buying opportunities are during the football season, not during the off season. Buy these guys when no one wants them because they're playing bad or on like a 3-week bender or whatever. Slide in and grab them and then hope that they play better the second half of the season, or try to plan out like what teams may have off-season shakeups, kind of like the Tua and Hurt situation where they went out and got Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown that gave them a bump up in price. You kind of play the long game with that as well if they continue to play through the rest of the regular season. Here's one Tua card. It's just one that I picked out because it went up a ton. This is his Optic Auto. It's funny. In early September, this sold for $800. After the big game last week, sold for $1,500. So almost doubled up. Another one that got a big bump up this week due to the Trey Lance situation was the opposite end of the spectrum. Little Jimmy G action. This is going back 90 days just because these don't sell very often, and I wanted to get a little bit of a trend line going. This is his Topps Chrome Refractor is the green line. His base Topps Chrome Rookie is the blue line. Both up over 100%. The Topps Chrome Refractor up 108%, a $58 change from $55 to $110. And then the base from $20 to $50, a $30 increase, up 160%. So if you were picking up Jimmy G on the cheap on basically shorting Trey Lance, money made. You did great on this one, and you could have picked this stuff up for dirt cheap. You already won a game. It's funny that the quarterback switch happens and their Super Bowl odds actually get better. Tells you how Vegas thinks of Trey Lance. Last but not least, we'll just kind of wrap this up very quickly. Won't spend a ton of time here. Basketball. I just wanted to do a little check-in on the overall basketball market. Media days are tomorrow in most cases. Monday is when a lot of the media days are. And then we are a month away from the season starting, and less than a month away now, 2 weeks away from the preseason starting. As of right now, the NBA market really hasn't done a ton. This is over the last 90 days, which takes us to late June. It's up 1.3%, and it's actually taken a little bit of a dip the last couple days. This index particularly that I'm using it's the BCF Modern. It's 2010 to present, so this doesn't have LeBron and Curry and stuff on it, but it has all the young guys like Lucas Silver, Zion Silver, Ja Silver. Basically has the kind of like the central main card for each guy, like Giannis base prism, so on and so forth. Basically pretty flat across the board. Zion down slightly, Luka down slightly, Tatum up slightly, Giannis down slightly, Ja up 10%, Kawhi Leonard up a little bit, Jamal Murray up a little bit, but nothing crazy going on. I'll be interested to see when and if, the basketball market gets a bump. Maybe it doesn't until games actually start and someone comes out and does something crazy. But we are on the cusp of the NBA season, and I, quite frankly, cannot wait. Cannot wait. I miss weeknight NBA games so much right now, just to have on in the background while I'm doing other stuff and to watch. And I could not be more excited for this Cavs season. I may try to go to the home opener. We'll see. But the NBA is almost here. I may try to squeeze in at some point in time over the next couple weeks, like a off-season deep dive and kind of look at some stuff. It's interesting when you run through this list like this. I found this when I was just kind of like just doing random prep for this video. Comparing players to each other and what they are priced at. Like this is an interesting one because they're from the very similar pop counts. Devin Booker's PSA 10 is going for $275. This is just base prism. AD's is going for $315. To me, that seems backwards. Like I mean, I like AD, but that team has a ton of problems. AD has a ton of injury history. Devin Booker for $275 or AD to $315. I don't know. I would rather have the Booker for $275. That's just me. When you just scroll through this list and kind of do some comparisons, it's interesting what some players sell for compared to others. Like the Timberwolves should be pretty good. A cat base PSA 10 for $73. I don't know. That just seems cheap to me. But maybe I'm just not in the right mindset. I don't know. So interesting stuff here. Requires more of a deep dive than what we have for this. Like I said, as you guys and girls are well aware, purpose of this video is just kind of like a high level look over at kind of the ins and outs of what's going on. So tomorrow we'll do the non-sports card version of this. Where we dig in and talk about non-sports cards, maybe mix in a comic book or two, and talk some Marvel stuff, maybe some TCGs, etc. Just as a quick little snippet for that, I've been having a lot of success moving the CGC slabs that I had graded, both on eBay, IG sales, personal sales at shows. I've kind of used all my different avenues to move that stuff, and they've been moving pretty okay. I'll probably talk about that more tomorrow, and kind of how CGC and Marvel specifically is kind of creating its own little unique landscape. We'll see if it holds or not. It could just be people, buying slabs to kind of see what they look like and get them in hand. But that'll probably be an interesting talking point for tomorrow. So like, comment, subscribe, enjoy your full NFL Week 3 experience. We'll see what wild and crazy things come out of this one. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.